where everybody just wants to do something, everybody wants to achieve, everybody wants to click, everybody wants to clock in. Like it was at some point it was becoming crazy. And I just felt, no, 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 no. Is this normal? Is this how we're going to continue to live our lives? And this is the reason why many people are overwhelmed, even as January is rounding up. We have a lot of stories out there in the social media. It's so overwhelming hearing stories about families, or hearing stories about parents not handling their misunderstanding well, and they start bleeding on their children, and the children don't know how to manage it. There's an outburst everywhere, and that's the reason why we are here today. Um, Today makes it exactly 5 years that we started this show, and I have appeared here since January, the last January in 2021. So this is the 5th year. I thought you people would celebrate now. What's happening? The house is so, or was it the music? Maybe admin should give us another music so that we can dance. Are you celebrating with me? If you don't think it's a big deal, I can tell it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Is it about thinking about the topic, getting the guest speakers, ensuring that whatever we are churning out here is impactful and helping families? And I can testify that there are reports, there are testimonies of people who have gone on this journey with me in the last 5 years, people getting healed. Some of these people have become practitioners themselves, a lot of stories. A lot of people are also helping people based on the things they have learned here. And they are also using it in their families experiencing peace and joy. I have so many messages on my phone that I can, maybe before the end of this meeting, I will share with you. And that is encouraging. That keeps us going. And I celebrate you. It is our own thing. And I celebrate you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Remember, I always say that there is no family meeting without you. I will just come here and I'll just be talking with my facility, my guests, if there are no people like you. So I say thank you very much for always coming online to join. Today, I'm going to leave the introduction of the topic to somebody. Somebody is joining me. And yes, from today, we're going to be having people join me in facilitation. People will be joining to co-host. And I'm sure, yeah, you remember we did briefly before Blessing passed last year. But this year, I have more people who are ready to work with me on this journey. And so without wasting much time, I'm going to ask the admin spotlight Aya Lawrence. Oh, yeah. Yes. So I see Aya Lawrence is in the room already. Thank you very much. So before I yield the mic to Aya, let me just welcome you all again. And I want you to go into the chat box, everyone. Just let me know where you're joining in from. Thank you, Ife Use. It's certainly a big deal. Thank you. That's somebody who understands it. Thank you so much. I love that. And thank you, Vivian, for the claps. Yes, so I was saying that I want us all to go into the chat session to let me know where you're joining in from. And please, I will add this question to it. How has the last 31 days been for you? Akanimo is joining from Uyo. So how has Akanimo, Toyi, how has the last 31 days been for you? Toyi was one of our guests in 2025. Thank you so much, Toyi, for coming. Eric, Lagos, Chisholm, Lagos. So guys, let me know, how has the last 31 days been? As you drop where you're joining in from, can you also let me know? Oh, Akanimo said overwhelming. Thank you for being so vulnerable. Thank you for being so vulnerable. Oluwatoyin said, it's been awesome. some unusual doors were open. Wow, congratulations, congratulations. Thank you, Carol, for joining from OTSA. Vivian, that's your what do you have to say? How has it been? How has it been? Trust me, for as many people who are in this room today, you're going to leave this meeting transformed and impacted all over again. We don't just run this meeting. We don't just run this meeting. I'm sure for those of you that have been constant on this group, we don't just run it. We do it with prayers. We do it with commitment. Eric says it was days of great and effectual doors. Congratulations, Eric. Congratulations. Thank you very much, everyone. I just assume that this is family, right? And I forgot to introduce the meeting, but I also know that some people are just joining us. So I'm going to introduce to some people who are just joining the family meeting. This is family meeting, which is being brought to you by the Center for Sex Education and Family Life. We call it Family Center. And this organization is the CSR part of the Praise Forward International. And we come here every last Saturday of the month to talk about everything family. One other thing we do is go on outreaches to schools, to communities, to reach out to people. And for those of you that knew that were here, sometime last year when I don't think I hosted PF or he was around one of the meetings sometime last year, and he was saying that it is high time we start asking people to support. So this is family meeting. We did a lot. We reached out even up to Kogi State. We took things like clothes, shoes, household materials. This is what we do. And we have never asked for any support. We don't currently have any grants or sponsorship. And so we are looking up to sponsorship and grants. And so if you will be willing, admin, please, maybe we should just start with that. Please drop account details so that people will have it in mind. If you are willing to also support, to also want to give to the society, like if give back, right? Yeah, you can join us on this race because that's exactly what it is for Praise Forward. And God has helped us to meet a lot of people. So thank you very much once again. At this point, I am introducing my co-host. She is going to introduce the meeting. Her name is, I'm sure I'm also introducing her to some people, why some people already know her. Her name is Ayodeji Lawrence. Ayo is a very good friend. She's a family practitioner. She has a master's in family life practitioner certification, and she's also doing well. So she will be running the show with me. She's going to also introduce our guest for today. I yield the mic to you, Ayo.
Thank you so much, Dr. Edwin. It's a privilege to be here again tonight. And I'm so pleased to be co-hosting this show with you this month. Well done for all you've done over the years. 5 years, that's not a joke at all. Showing up almost every month, that's a big deal. Well done, well done, well done to you and your team. And I'm joining your team in doing this amazing work. And you asking us to support the work that is being done is not so much, because based on the things that we churn out every month, it's not so much to ask people to support the other work, the other people that we are also supporting outside of impacting ourselves with knowledge month in, month out. So thank you so much. Well done, well done, well done, sis. So tonight we'll just go straight into what we have to do. And before I introduce our guests, I'll just give us an insight into what we have tonight. And we are looking at reset, not resolution, shaping healthier family patterns for the new year. So I know that quite a number of us, we are used to making resolutions every year. Oh, it's a new year resolution. I will not steal again. I will not lie again. I will not do this. I will not do that. or in our family, we will not do this, we will not do that. So this evening, we are looking at resetting as against, resolutions. As the year opens, it opens with, to some people, a lot of pressure. And that happens to quite a number of people. It's pressure filled. And, I want to do this, I want to achieve this. And with time, it fades away. With time, it fades away. And tonight we are looking at, instead of people making resolutions, can we just look at resetting those unhealthy patterns, resetting to strengthen our connection with one another in the family, and also to create healthier emotional climates that last within the home. Because if care is not taken, if we are not intentional, we just find out that we just rush through, like Evo said at the beginning. We'll rush through, and before we know it, we've not really achieved so much, and we are burnt out. And we don't want that to happen to us again. And that's why we are bringing this meeting to us tonight. There are a few questions I'll be asking my guest, and I'm hopeful that he will be able to shed a lot of light to them as usual. And all of us will go out of here rejuvenated and ready to go into the year much more focused and aligned. So to take this session with me today is no other than PF. Please, let's first spotlight him. Praise for Wowe is our guest tonight. Please, let's get into the chat and just welcome him, the founder of Family Center. Thank you so much, PF. Thank you so much, Praise for choosing to come on the show again tonight. I've known him for quite some time, and it's been a pleasure doing life with you. So without wasting time, would like you to just, I'll be asking you a few questions, and I'll just want you to shed as much light as you can on it. So when we're talking about resetting and not, making resolutions, what comes to you, when you first saw that topic and you were told that you're coming on the show to shed more light?
Okay, thank you very much, Ayo, and thank you, Ebon. These are two of my favorite people. When Ebon called me, of course, it was a command. She literally bullied me. So I had no option than to show up. Resolution is what we have all been taught to do. At best, a mouth exercise that makes us feel excited that we're about to do something. My friend, Fisayo, loves to put it in a very funny way. And pardon me if there's no child there, so I'm going to put it the way Fisayo likes to define it. So think of New Year resolution as low sperm count. He excites, but he never impregnates. When you understand that, it becomes very clear to you. People write resolution. I will not drink again. I will not smoke again. I will go to the gym every day. And so the only day they go to the gym, they live stream themselves at the gym, right? So that they can send a signal across. The only problem is that that's the last day they will go to that gym. So the next day when they start snoring on their bed, they don't live stream it, right? So it's a momentary satisfaction. It's like getting a fix. It wears out within 48 hours. And it wears out not because the person does not want to change. It's just that the person has not attached pleasure to the pain that is required, because every change will give you a form of pain, right? And if you don't attach pleasurable feeling to that pain, there is no way you will go through it. And then when there is no consequence for not effecting that change. And so we say the patterns predict the future. Your patterns, can literally tell us what you're going to do. I have grown to a level that I understand people's patterns. And so I can literally predict where they're going to end within 1 month or within 2 weeks, within 1 week. I know exactly what they're going to do based on their patterns. Now, until we uninstall that pattern and install the pattern that can deliver the outcome we want, we're never going to produce any results. So think of it this way. You want to achieve a goal, right? And then you're asking the question, what is this goal going to cost me to achieve? And when you are clear about what is going to cost you, you look at yourself and say, which of these don't I have at the moment? What do I need to do to now have this? Who can help me? Am I accountable to? And what is the consequence of not doing this? Right? When that becomes very clear in your mind, then you will take baby steps every day, knowing fully well that maybe within a matter of 60 days, you would have formed a new habit. Right? So in a nutshell, resolutions is like motivational speaking. You get you excited, you shout, you scream, oh yeah, it's our year, new year, blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, you realize that by the third week, you are back to square one. You are back to not doing what you should do. Because when the pain of change outweighs the pleasure you seek, you will hardly go through that change, right? But once pleasure becomes what to attach to that pain, then the rest becomes very easy. So I hope this clearly defines the difference between the two. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much, PF, for clearly letting us see the difference between resolutions that we make and actively pursuing the things that we have made up our minds to do. One of the things that has helped me as a person in working with you is when we apply the triangle of life.
Yes.
And putting underneath it, I've actually redrawn that triangle of life and I've put a stand underneath it and put consequences. Because I know that when the consequence is there, the tendency for you not meeting that goal, so to speak, it's very, very slim.
Yeah.
But when you put that consequence, which is like a stand in my own, thinking, it's almost 100% that you're going to meet that goal. So you have your result, you have your belief, and you have your behavior. And then you are telling yourself, if I don't do this, what is the consequence that I'm going to, have to face? And I think that is what is usually missing when a lot of people are setting their goals, as it were. So the question I would have asked is, why do resolutions often fail families? But I think you have mentioned it while you were speaking. Or would you want to add to what you have said in respect to families?
Oh, yeah. I mean, resolution fails because, again, we're not the people brought up to understand the systems behind things. We are people who are not brought up to follow process. We are miraculous people. When I mean miraculous people, our mantra is, God has to do it. He has to do it suddenly. It's miraculous. If it be you, it's your time. It's your season. It's a God of 11th hour. What God will do, He will do. Just trust God. Fast some more. Pray some more. All right. And life passes us by, and we don't even say it. And when we don't have result, we just continue to do what we used to do. We never introspect and ask. Like I always say to people, if somebody says, follow me, if you follow me for 5 years, your life is going to change. And you follow the person for 5 years and you are still at where you used to be, or your life has gone worse, you've earned the right to question or to leave that place and go and try something else.
Mm-hmm.
But it's almost as if we have a contract that says, I will die here till something happens, and then people wake up and they are 60, right? So it's a scripting, a conditioning that at the base of it has a bit of religion or spirituality, but it's very spooky, which cannot produce any outcome. And because we don't want to be the odd man out, fear of missing out. We would rather join the congregation of people who are not producing results, or where God comes as a visiting lecturer once in a while. He does something fantastic for someone, and then for every one person that we highlight as God has done something for, there are 9,000 other people who will not receive anything in the next 10 years. All right. And so we don't highlight, and we don't even, the people God has done something for, we don't look at it as God is introducing a framework that we all can follow to reproduce the outcome, right? And so we get so excited, that, and recently I started studying every religion, and I realized that it's the same in every religion, right? It's the same across board, right? That the human mind needs to first of all know that the first introduction of God is as a creator. In the beginning, God made the heavens and the earth. And so if God made you in his image, the responsibility of creating your outcome is in your hand, right? The day I decided to change what I was charging, it was my call, and I changed it. The day I said that I will not do any job that is less than a certain amount, if it's less than that, I'm going to delegate it. It was a choice, right? Because resources flow in the direction of project. So what has happened is that people don't love their lives enough to choose themselves, because they are always looking for someone else to blame, someone else to abdicate their responsibilities to, that the day you choose yourself, you will now decide what meal is good for you, what activity is good for you, because not every meal that is good for you, and you can know, there are meals that you eat and all you want to do is go and sleep, you become very heavy. But there are meals you eat, you are the best moment. You need to be able to track. An unexamined life is not worth living. The problem is that we don't examine. We are not checking. We are not tracking. We are not looking at ourselves and say, what was the best moment of my life? When is the best? We just are people who just keep entrenching what has not worked for us. So what I think people need to overcome is that age-long myth and age-long framework which has not served you. Anything you have done in the last 10 years which has not produced the outcome for you is already proof that it's never going to work. It's now proof to you to say, let me go and embrace something else. Try at least 12 months. Let me try something that is new and look for something that can, provide, for what is what, let me even try it out, right? And once you try it and realize that, okay, this works, this will not work, because at the end of the day, I must say this carefully, there is nobody that has the monopoly of the outcome that you seek. And nobody has monopoly over any knowledge. Any man at the highest level at best is just going to try, right? And for every idea that works, there are 99 that did not work. We don't like to admit those things, but that is the truth, right? Now, if you have now mastered how to fail forward, you will enhance your chance to understand what will likely work and what will likely fail, which is where some of us eventually get to, right? And so if you understand that, and this is how I'm going to say, and I need all of you to answer me in the chat box. Mention one man in Africa that absolutely has the power to raise the dead. Anybody at all, absolutely has the power to raise the dead. That if he goes to mortuary today, he can raise every dead person there. Mention the name on the chat box. Somebody's asking what does it take to choose yourself. I'll talk about that later. Yeah, mention one name. Anybody? Somebody said nobody. Are you sure? None that you know. No one. None. So everybody says no. So if there is nobody that has the absolute power to raise the dead, why are you not believing in yourself? Why are you believing, abdicating your life to people who don't have absolute power to raise the dead? So if they can't raise the dead, most likely they can't absolutely raise you. So why are you not your own prophet? And why are you not choosing yourself to say, you know what? Let me even start with taking 100 steps every day. Next week, I'll make it 1,000 steps. Upper week, I'll make it 2,000 steps. Till I get to 10,000 steps every day. That's how these things work. which is the law of process. When we embrace the law of process, right, then we will begin to develop the muscles that make our change permanent. And that's what I think is responsible for where we are.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pierre. There was something you said, and I will encourage us to take note of it. I don't know if we picked it when he was speaking, and it's part of the things I've picked from PF, in working with him. He mentioned the fact that resources flow in the direction of projects. So as families, as we come together to, come up with our goals, come up with the things we want to do, we need to have that at the back of our minds. The things we are looking out to do, to achieve, can they be referred to as projects? And if they can be referred to as projects, we need to, know that resources will flow in that direction, and we'll be able to achieve what we have set out to achieve. I can see Ebon. Do you have something to say, Ebon?
Yes, I just want to thank you very much, PF, and thank you, Ayo, for so far. It's been an interesting one. The question I want to ask PF, or what I want to say that I want PF to talk about is, we also know, PF, that it's not as if people don't want to do things.
Mhm.
It's not as if people don't, inside you that, and I know this thing, I have this power. But somehow you just realize that you're doing things. And I have been under your training before where you talked about, if we understand how our conscious and unconscious mind works,
Mhm.
then we will be able to jara egba kind of a thing from whatever it is that is standing as a stronghold that is pulling you down. I remember you saying that one of the, I think it's the unconscious mind operates in the conscious mind operates in the logic. The unconscious mind operates in feelings and all that. And you tied it around the fact that one also operates under potential energy, and until that potential energy is ignited, it will not move to kinetic energy. So I think that feeling stuck. That's doing it for 3 weeks and letting it go could be as a result of these things. I would love that you shed more light.
Okay.
So that part of it will probably help people to start reasoning and thinking right. Thank you.
I'll share a couple of fundamental truths that I think if you if you read it to yourself every day, you will make progress. Number one, there is only one producer, every other person is a product. Write it down. There's only one producer, every other person is a product. What that means is only one person has the final say, and that's God. Right? Every other person, call the person your mentor, call the person, everyone is at the same level, potentially. Right? Now, number two, decision determines destiny, not emotion. Now, from that place where all of us are products, now you can remain an empty bottle. You can decide to become Moet, right? And as a bottle, the people that will buy you are the people, all those aboki who buy scrap, right? Moet means that you will move from bottle to at least lounge, where I don't know how much a bottle of Moet. I don't know how many of us go to the club. How much is a bottle of Moet, right? I can't remember, right? So you will move to a place where not everybody can afford you. You can first move to Coca-Cola, right? Where everybody can buy you, but not everybody anyways. And then you can move to Moet. Now, that movement is choice. Now, number three, right, is to say that increase response to use. That's number three. What that means is that for you to grow, you at least have to show up, whether for free or for anything. You need to exercise you need to exercise your energy, at least to a reasonable extent, right? That as much as you consistently show up, it will determine who sees you. It will also determine how well you build yourself. And that takes me to number 4. You cannot pray yourself out of what you behaved yourself into. Right? And so what that means is that you can't pray yourself to grow taller by 2 inches now. It's not going to work. You can't hold your wife and pray for baby to be born without having sex. It's not going to work. Right? That everything you are doing, you behaved yourself into it. Right? Now, whether you were induced, but everything was a behavior. And what I want you to do is take your mind back to your 10th birthday. How was that 10th birthday celebrated? Were you a part of that conversation, or they decided it for you? What you wore? Was it what you wanted to wear? Or what they gave you? The choice of cake, the people you invited. Take your mind back to your first day in elementary school. How did you make that choice? Did they take you to several schools and now say, oh, which one did you feel like? Or they made that choice for you? Now, the people that made that choice for you, did they consider the quality of teachers you're going to be exposed to? Their worldview? Did they consider the culture of the friends you're going to sit with and the conversations? You see, where many of us are, the level of what we've had to do. I remember now the people that sat beside me, you know what they were talking about? They were the people discussing Okpaje, they were discussing Omonoku. Those were the play they would have watched and bring to school. I still remember the song now. Omonoku, Famimora, Osanwuru, Iwasa, coming Oshanwuru. Those were. Now you can imagine. Did they consider your destiny before they made those choices for you? Now, your elementary school to secondary school, how was that choice made? Now, even in secondary school, when you were going to specialize sciences, commercial, or arts, was it your choice, or your mother almost died to say, if you don't become a doctor, she's going to kill herself? Now, so technically, by the time you were leaving secondary school, 16, 17, 18 years of your life had not been chosen by you. They were choices made for you. So if 18 years of your life, formative years and everything, was already based on someone else's script, your destiny was already sealed. And so going forward, every of your choice will not be in your interest. It will be in someone else's interest. And let me give you a simple example. If you are married here, and at the point of making a marital choice, when you are writing the list of the qualities you will look for in the man you will marry, how many of you put he must be wealthy or she must be wealthy there?
Yeah.
Most of us did not. So if you did not put he must be wealthy or she must be wealthy, you already set yourself up for a life of struggle. Because there are people married and their destiny, financial destiny changed forever. Poverty became bye-bye. But why did you not choose? Was it because you didn't want to be wealthy or you didn't want to do things? Was it because you wanted to be struggling and be struggling with somebody? No. You were already conditioned to think that that is materialistic or that is carnality. So instead of choosing yourself, you chose an ideology they brainwash you to accept. That's the classic example. Now think of your life. If you, with awareness that some of you have right now, if you have to remake that choice again, I'm sure your choices will be totally different. Now, that is a classic case. So if everything we've done so far, talked about so far, has shown you that your choices were not. So when people say, oh, you know, choose, you have choice. You don't have choice oftentimes. What is your choice in an election when the two people brought before you by the two dominant parties are already devil and evil? Or bad, the choice between bad and evil and not good and bad. Your choice is already made for you, you're already powerless. So many of us don't know. And then if you find yourself in a voluntary organization, this golden rule of every voluntary organization is free entry, free exit. If you have entered anything that you now feel guilty to exit, you are no longer in a voluntary, you are in a cult. Again, so you see another choice being made for you. You are now taught how to move, how to sleep, how to jump, how to eat. Till now, they are teaching you how to have sex. That already says something. If you are going to be very honest with yourself, that looks like I have not grown. I have not started making my own choice. So at that point, you pause, which was what I did. You take a pause and say, look, I'm now 45. It looks like every choice has been made for me. Now, at that point of pause, you now say, I'm 45 right now. At what age do I want to die? Let's say 90. So you have 40 years to go. Between that 40 years and 90, the number of years you have to run around, jump around, let's say another 20 years, which will take you to 65. So between now and 65, at the age of 65, where do I want to be? Let them give you a blank. Let's assume you have a blank check. You now have to write, where do I want to be at 65? What life do I want to live? Where do I want to be? Who do I want to be with? Right? You write it down. Guess what? Every time I ask people to do this exercise, they will still write what is limiting. I mean, I was watching a movie. They were asking somebody to do this exercise, visualization in his dream. The guy was blind. So they asked him to visualize himself. He was still blind in his visualization. That time I knew that this guy can never see. No matter, he can never see. Right. So if you ask some people to dream themselves into existence, they will still dream the little, the small. Right? So once you are clear about what you want to be at 65, then you ask yourself, let's assume you don't know yourself. You are not the one doing this task. And somebody comes to you. He says, this is where I want to be. Right? What would be your advice on what the person needs to start to do from today? That will take you closer for the first time to the most accurate answer. And when you do that accurate answer, don't trust that accurate answer. Go and show it to someone who is independent-minded and say, if you see somebody who writes this, that this is what he wants to do, what future do you think this person is going to have? Whatever that person says to you is the right answer. So we all have to understand that your unconscious mind knows the totality of you. Everything that has been stored in you, good, bad, ugly, it's already there. It knows you. Everything you have ingested, everything, including many of the things you say, oh, God told me, all right, may actually have been induced teaching of the people you trusted in your vulnerable moment. That, I mean, the mind works like Google, right? If I punch my screen right now and I say, Google, I am feeling heavy in my right side of my head. You know, Google will give me an answer. That's how the mind works. Every time you ask a question, the mind provides answer. That answer is based on the dominant information that is in your database, right? So why is my life like this? Answers will already come. Your life is like this because there's a woman in the village. You know, that woman in the village may not exist. It may actually be the multitude of messages you've had. Yeah, what do we now do to this woman? Again, you punch the database. It shows you you need to go on 100 days fasting. Right? After 100 days fasting, your life is still not. What? I've done. Now says to you, you need patience. All of this conversation may not be good. Right? So basically, what you need to understand is that as a human being, you share the co-creation nature with God. And you can determine where you want to head from today, right? And what that means is that, and which is the caveat, your choices will offend the people that have kept you in a cocoon. Your choices will upset every foundation of everyone that have held you bound. And they are going to gaslight you. They are going to blackmail you. They are going to call you names. This is where people retreat. But you see, if you truly choose that future, you will understand the final thing I'm going to say, which is the sixth thing. I would rather fail by trying on my own decision than still fail on the sword of someone else that I borrowed. Because if you succeed or if you fail on your own terms, you would have learned what you violated and it will take you to the next thing. Right? But as long as it's still borrowed thought, borrowed ideas that have taken you to where you are, you stand no chance. So the question is, 20 years down the line, where do you want to be? If you can clearly see it, write it down, articulate it, it becomes a northern star by which you measure everything. The moment I did that, I measured every meeting, every event by it. How does this help me achieve what I want to achieve? If the answer is no, I'm not going. Right? Because everybody, that's how they choose. That's, Ebon, I am working with one of the 1% of the 1%. I know the first thing I notice, these rich people don't think like us. These guys are not emotional. Everybody I worked with, they think 7 generations, which is 210 years. Right? So they don't think like, I need to give it to somebody who is competent. They train the person to be. So all this, in fact, what I'm finding out that this concept of allow your children to have a mind of their own, allow them to have, they don't want their children to have the mind of their own. They want them to have a mind of how wealth will be perpetuated from generation to generation.
Yeah.
Right? So I have since learned that popular information in the domain is often for the masses. If you can go against what is on the domain, that's most likely where answers is. So I think if you follow some of the few things I've said right now, and please don't believe me, just try it for 1 year. If it doesn't work this year, go back to what you used to do. You realize that your life would have been better. You will feel a sense of liberation within you. And most likely, you are likely going to find God than any other way.
Absolutely.
Wow. That was deep. Please,
Indeed,
go ahead.
Indeed.
Thank you very much, PF.
And you said something. You said if we've been going in a particular direction for so long, it's never too late to turn around and try another direction. Just try it for 12 months and see if that will deliver the life you truly, truly, truly want. And I think a lot of us don't sit back to ask ourselves, what do I really want? If we can sit down and answer that question, if money was not a barrier, time was not a barrier, nothing like that was a barrier, what kind of life do I really want? And if we can, put that down, we'll find ourselves beginning to go in that direction. And that was why I said that resources flow in the direction of projects. And projects can be anything. So when I'm talking resources, don't just think it's money alone I'm talking about. People, money as well. So many things just begin to flow in the direction of that project that you have. So I think a lot of us need to be able to sit down and ask ourselves, what exactly do I want? When we begin to ask that question, we find out that a lot of things will begin to work together towards the delivering of that life that we want. We'd like to find out from you, PF. You've mentioned some things, but would like you to add to it. What are practical ways to reset communication, boundaries, and emotional safety in the family? Practical ways to reset communication, boundaries, and emotional safety in the family.
I don't treat things in isolation because I don't believe in it. I can give you practical tips and you write it down, but I tell you that it will become New Year resolution again. You won't be able to do it.
Yeah.
Because you are not building towards any particular end. So first thing first, where does your family want to go? because that's end. I'm a believer in beginning with the end in mind. Where does your family want to go? That answers the question of family vision. Once that is clear, you know, I work with quite a number of troubled marriages. And then I do a session with them for like 3 weeks or 4 weeks. Then they have a problem and they come to me. The first question I'm asking them is, what's your family vision? I asked a guy last week. He said, it's inside my laptop. I said, then that's why you're doing. So these symptoms you are bringing to me, it's already, you already know the answer, right? So where does your family want to go? You and your husband need to sit down, answer that question. Where are we headed? If you have children who are grown, they need to be part of it. What type of family do you want to build? Once your vision is clear, right? Your vision is what now determines the style of communication, because your vision will elicit your family perceptual code to say, who are we as a family? So if you say that we are royalties, so if we are royalties, that's how we say ourselves. Then the next question on communication is, how do royalties communicate? If you don't know, just use ChatGPT. How do royalties communicate? How do they talk to themselves? How do they correct themselves? Everything that pertains to communication, you begin to Google it or search for it, you will see an entire database of knowledge. Whatever you see there, you start to practicalize it, because it will reveal what you're doing, what not doing right now. And so you now need to begin to practicalize that. And then you now ask, how do royalties set boundaries? For example, you know that when royalties, I mean, I don't know how many of you have attended the birthday of the ambassador of United States of America to Nigeria. Did you even get the invite? Why didn't you get the invite? You see, there are events that happen in Nigeria that you see. Once you see an event, national event, right, and you are not invited, it already tells you where you are in the scheme of things. No matter who you are, be shouting, be screaming, be every morning, it shows you where, because the owners of the state are gathering there. Or you cannot be wishing, and you will see your mind will even remind you that you are being molested, because your mind will now be wishing that, these are the problems in Nigeria. How I wish somebody would just bomb the place. That's where your mind behaves. What your mind is saying is that you have no stake. You are not a stakeholder. Right? So instead of you to now ask, what must I do so that next time I'm in that meeting? That's how I answer. That's how I ask myself question. Who is in that place that I can go and shadow so that next time I am there, you will join them to be pointing accusing finger. All these people, they are stealing our money. They are money. It's because you are not there. That's why you're pointing accusing fingers. Because the people that are there also don't want you to come in. Do you understand? So you need to ask, based on who you want to be, how must I talk? How must I work? See, everybody that is close to me knows that I'm slightly changed this year compared to who I used to be. Right? People who are very, very close to me would have noticed that. Right? Because what I've done now is to set the boundaries, and I placed it very, very high. So for you to come in, it's a different ballgame entirely from what I've been. Because I've dissipated energy, a lot of energy on things and on people, and I don't want to do that. Right? So it's very simple. Who you are will determine the decisions you take, will determine, what, because sometimes I am walking, what I'm building is even very stretching. It's too intense for me. So I don't, before you call me, you buzz me, I'm responding to you almost immediately. Sometimes I don't even have the luxury of that time. Right? So if you like, say that PF has changed, PF is no longer, every niceness I've done in the last 20 years is enough for the rest of my life. I don't do any again. Right? And that is it. When you are clear about what you are and what you want to be, and the demand, because whatever you want to be, place a demand on you. It places a demand on you. If Ebon becomes Secretary General of United Nations right now, I won't expect to be able to call her anytime. No, the role compels her to act in a particular way. So many of us want the high level, but you still want to act at the low level. It's not going to work. That low level behavior will sabotage what you want to become. Prayer is alignment of your word, thought, and action. So your action contradicts what you are saying and what you are thinking. Your prayer is not going to be answered. And that's how many of us behave, right? And so naturally, I don't wear suit. But what I'm doing right now compels me to wear suit, so I wear suit. Right? So this is how these things work. Your life must dictate the style you embrace. So things like boundaries, things like communication is the life you want that should impose that on you. Or else you will still be talking the way you were raised to talk. And we were raised to talk, we're not raised to communicate. Right? And then you were not even raised to do research. And understand. I wrote about it last week. When we were younger, God bless Dr. Miles Monroe and Mike Murdock. There was a book I read, The Loss of Recognition by Mike Murdock. One of the best books everybody should buy. Give it to your children. That book taught us that you need to recognize the people in front of you. And then before you meet them, have a note where you write the question you're likely going to ask. I have notes. If I meet Bill Gates, the question I'm going to ask him is there. Right? So you live ready. So when I met Dr. Miles Monroe, the question I was asking was, it was easy for him to adopt me. Right? And so you can now understand when an adult, full-grown adult in Nigeria, who calls himself the #1 interviewer in Africa, met a 21-year-old, and he had nothing in his brain to ask than, you are 21. Oh, wow, you look healthy. Oh, wow. When did you start? Go, 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 go. That shows something, right? People don't prepare for opportunities. So what you need to do, in fact, I've done a lot of crazy stuff. One of the things I've done, when I noticed that footballers signed a 5-year contract, right, to a club, I sign myself. I write my own contract. Footballing on praise. You've been signed to this company, and this is what you are going to be earning per week. And these are the behavior. So the behavior that club demanded is what I'm doing. But I don't say all these things out. So it's a lot of inner work that is required. So boundaries, communication is subject to, are you even clear who you want to be? Because if your family is not clear who your family want to be, things like communication and whatever will just be another resolution. Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I just wanted to, I want to chip something into what PF said in form of a question. PF, I want you to respond to that question now, putting into, because the children are part of the equation, now putting the children into it. You see, our children see us do things. I remember speaking with somebody this morning, and she was saying that their children actually literally sat them down to say, Mom, Dad, you are not the only one feeding us with information. We have other sources of information. And so don't assume that you are the only ones. We hear things, we read things, and this also contributes to how we live our lives. When children see that in the home, even our parents, they don't even know what they're doing. They tend to absorb some of the dynamics, family dynamics silently, right? And this gets parents angry. I don't know, what do you have to say, and how do you think parents should handle such thing? What we do? If I greeted that lady and I said, wow, that's a beautiful one. You have so raised your children to be open and to say things. I know what other parents will say. You and who? We are your parents. This is it and all that, And I think people just need to know that life is evolving. While we are not indulging them, we are also paying attention so that we can correct. So I want you to speak in relation to.
Okay, again, we go back to the same thing. What kind of family do you want to raise? What children are you trying to raise? Again, that speaks to how we handle them. You will never see the Queen of England or the King of England scream and yell at the princes, because there's a protocol to raising them. There's a protocol to correcting them. there's a protocol to engagement, right? And that was why when the Queen was alive and then Harry began to do whatever he was doing, the palace had to release a statement to say that it's a family affair, we're going to take care of it, right? And so when, you see, we can't say anything without going back to when the fundamentals are not in place, right? Everything we are dealing with will be symptomatic, right? And symptoms are symptoms. They are not the root cause, right? So my family says that Perception Co. were royalties. If we're royalties, then everyone has got a voice, right? And you can't shut them down. So they have a right to ask you, so why are we doing this? Why do we need to do this? You have to explain. It's not out of place to explain. The challenge again is we want to be on one hand, we want to enjoy the benefits of the new of the new generation, but we also want to retain the privileges our parents gave. So we are more or less like hypocrites, right? So we want to travel, use iPad, and use it. Never forget that generations comes and dispensations change. The dispensation you're dealing with right now, most of the questions your children are likely going to ask you, they know the answer. They're just testing you, right? And many of you, instead of you to ask, and that's what I'm going to say to you, if your children ask you certain questions, repeat the same questions to them. What do you think? Because if you think they don't know, then you are fooling yourself. They know in most cases. They are just testing your knowledge to be sure that this person is still in touch or this person knows something, right? So in that case, what I'm going to recommend is, again, what's your family vision? What type of children are you trying to raise? And let's be clear. Let's be clear. You can't infuse your emotions into an English word and say it's disrespectful. Why you consider it disrespectful is because you are thinking in your local dialect, but you are speaking English. So we need to be compassionate on our children, especially the ones who don't speak our local dialect. So for example, I know enough not to say to Ayo, as a Yoruba man, if Ayo, let's say Ayo is my mother, my first language is Yoruba. There's a way Yoruba make you think, right? Yoruba language, there's a way it makes you think. I know this is my mother. I can't talk to her anyhow. So my English is going to reflect my Yoruba-ness. So there are things I'm not likely going to say. I'm not going to look at Ayo and say, oh, mom, I mean, you guys, or what do you think you are? And all those kind of things. Never going to, I can't say to my father, you guys. But we, by ourselves, are raised children who don't speak our local dialect, who were not socialized in our culture, and they were socialized in English. English does not have that respect, that what we call respect, as it were, right? English has courtesy, it doesn't have respect the way Yoruba or Igbo or Hausa has respect. So when these children communicate to us in English, we have a problem with it, right? Not instead of taking responsibility to say, oh, they don't understand our culture. What they understand is English. So how do you tell somebody keep quiet in English, if not keep quiet? Somebody help me. What's the respectable way to say keep quiet? Oh, will you keep quiet? Please, can you silence your voice? Can you reduce? Oh. So if I say keep quiet, is keep quiet an English word? Yes. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes. But because I'm older than you, it's a problem.
Yeah.
But if my first language was Yoruba, I know I cannot say keep quiet. I will find a way. Mommy, I think you are too loud. Or Mom, can you reduce your voice? Because I am first saying it, I'm hearing it in Yoruba before I translate it to English.
She would tell you, oh, King Abi. Exactly.
So our children don't understand. They don't understand that, right? Somebody says, please keep quiet, or please be quiet. That is still insulting in Yoruba. Please be quiet. When ordinary, a child saying to you, I, is considered disrespectful in your culture. That how dare you call me, you say hi to me. Meanwhile, hi is a greeting. Right? Hi is a greeting. Can you please be calm, mom? Some parents will still give you a death slap.
Be calm.
Aha. And then say, I need to borrow your ears, not your voice right now, ma. you are dead. You know, you're not just dead, you are dead. So we can all see this is the gap that we are not paying attention to. So what I've learned to do when I'm dealing with the younger generation is I listen to their English and I know what they're trying to communicate and I don't feel offended, right? Because their culture is not my culture. So I can't make that expectation of them of what I have not taught them because they don't understand Yoruba. They don't understand my culture. Yorubas are the ones who say, when you say Pele, he has male, he has female, he has masculine and feminine. English does not know whether Pele has feminine or masculine. Right? So what we need to do, two options, is either to now prioritize cultural education, where we take them through what it means to be a Yoruba, an Igbo, an Idoma person. Right? And once they master that, you will see a change in their English because they will not start thinking your culture before English. So that's it.
Yeah, I think I know we are wrapping up bit by bit. And you know what you just said now reminded me of what we did in Powerhouse, looking at the walls at the gates. And when we were going through that challenge, it actually opened our eyes to see a lot of gaps, even in our family, such that we had to sit down and began to look at each of these gates and see what we can do, the repairs we need to make, to ensure that we have a stronger family system. So it's very important for us, even as parents, to sit back and look at ourselves. Where have we missed it? And not just, keep going through the motions and expect something different to happen. What are the things that we need to do differently from what we've been doing? We need to really come down from our high horses and know that in some areas we haven't done well. And if we haven't done well, there's no how we can expect something different from our children. We really need to get to that point where we will tell ourselves, you know what, I need to even go back to school of family systems. I need to go back to really see how a home needs to be, run, so to speak. So I'm just imploring those of us on the call tonight that let's go back to our homes and really see what we are doing. Look at what we are doing and check it out sincerely. Can this home deliver the peace that we really want in our society? This home that I have, this family that I'm building with my husband, and even if we're single parents that I'm building, can it really deliver the peace that I want in the world? Or I'm just deceiving myself? Because I believe quite a number of us are just going through the motions. We are not really, really looking at what we are doing to see, can it deliver what we want? And I believe that when we begin to do that, the shifts that we desire will begin to come. There's a saying that when the student is ready, the teacher will show up. Yeah. That shift that we really desire, we'll just find out that you begin to read something, a podcast, you get in touch with a mentor, and before you know it, you are in alignment with that future that you see. So the work is really in our hands as parents to ensure that we go back to our foundation and begin to do things right. Let's forget the titles. Let's forget the way people see us and be truthful to ourselves. Am I really, really what people think I am? Are we really, really as a family what people out there think we are? And just forget about what people are saying and say, you know what, let's fold our sleeves, let's double up, let's go on our fours and do the work that needs to be done. I don't know if everyone has any other thing to say. I think PF has just, touched all the questions that I have from my end. And if there's anything else, Ebon, that you have to add, you can add and we can wrap up in a nice note. Thank you so much, PF. Thank you.
Thank you so much, PF, and thank you, Ayo, for that beautiful summary that you've done. Thank you, PF. It's been a lot this evening. Families, we all know that a lot is happening. In fact, with that part that PF ventured into, talking about raising children, we're seeing a lot of drama. We're seeing a lot of things happening in our world that we wonder, is this sustainable? Where will this lead us? And PF had said something at the beginning that we are all living some people or somebody's script. It is high time we sit to start living our own script. PF, I think because we are families, we want you to just touch on, it's not as if we're not old enough to understand that, but to just touch on the social and cultural pressure that we go through in the world that is full of all this noise on the social media, how families can protect their values and emotional balance. I know that you will say that we should go back to the drawing board to say, what is your family vision? But there's so much. And a lot of times I try to pause to say, okay, I'm speaking this way because I understand. And I don't want to assume that everybody understands what's going on and understand how to handle some of those things. Because you'll be surprised that even people in your caucus, you see that they are still arguing to say, oh, this is what we're saying. And you said something. A lot of times we concentrate on instead of going to the roots to talk about it, we are focusing on the symptoms. And that is what we're all full of doing. So how can we balance and manage? Because that is also affecting how we are living our lives and our values in our family, the social media thing.
I think that, and I'm going to say this carefully to everyone listening to me. I have taught maybe like 2 or 3 classes this year already on this. And I'm going to recommend that you go watch the session I had with parents in the diaspora last week. What is happening in the world is that the last 100 years ago is repeating itself. And it's going to be on for the next 10 years. And so, and if you look at what happened 100 years ago, that was the era where slave trade was the thing. One of the core things that happened was there was identity compromise. There was fractured family history, right? And so name change. And that's what you can find right now. How to destroy an entire culture is for your language to be taken, for your history to be fractured or to be non-existent, and then for you not to even understand the expected behavior or expected standards. That's why if you are here and you were part of the Gates and the Walls Challenge, you would understand this. If you were not part of it, it's something I can't even help you with it, right? Because there was a reason why the Jerusalem's gates were burnt. The burnt gate was indicative that we don't want you to know what the standard is. Once you don't know what the standard is, you will embrace whatever is thrown at you. And that's what is happening, wherein children are just embracing anything, right? They're embracing anything. How does a 17-year-old streamer gain admission to study law? And he spent 2 days in class. And he withdrew himself from school. And he says school is not for him. That I can't imagine himself in classroom without making money. So he's going to be streaming that when he's 40, he will now go back to school. Now, you know the cultural impact of that on several children. You even see adults. There's a trending case in Nigeria now this morning that I don't even want to talk about, right? That people have become impressionable. If this person can do it, I can do it. That nobody is asking the question, what is my identity? And if you look at the world, all this gay, what's his name? Donald Trump saying that people should not come to America. is indicative of something. There's something happening. Everybody's trying to take their culture back. That's what is happening. Africa is the only one not getting the memo. Every nation is tightening their immigration to say enough is enough. All the people we brought in, they are not integrating. They still want to be Nigerian in America. They want to be whatever. No, we don't want that. We only want Americans. That's what they're saying. What is Nigeria saying? What is Cameroon saying? What is South Africa saying? What are the Yoruba saying? What are we saying? Do we even know our history? So if you notice, everything I've been teaching, and I didn't even start this year, is to tell everybody, go back. Go find your history. I mean, in going back, my sister had to go back during Wars and the Gates Challenge. And what we, even, because what I knew about my grandfather's name was Alasho, I know he's changed it for where, you know, I didn't know the meaning of Alasho. I thought it was a chieftaincy title. It was during that we now learned that Alasho means people that came from Isha in Edo State. I didn't know. That's what it means. I know my mom is partly Isha, but I didn't know my dad had, you know. And then that the great-grandmother was a worshiper of Ifa, that people will go to her. She's a priestess that was giving people direction for their future. That her house is always packed, besieged with people, and she's giving them, right? So priesthood has always, right? This, the way to the future is the way to the past. We need to go back and take our story and now spice the story up, because you can spice it up. You can even exaggerate it. It's called narrative management. Go to the British. The stories are not totally real. They spice it up and give you a narrative. And then that there is a way that people hear your history, hear your story. Before you even show up, they're afraid of you. There are things, because your descendants know, in this family, this is what we stand for. We are royalties. So this is how our shoulder pad most everywhere we go. We never bow to anybody. Anywhere they go, they show up. Their esteem is intact. That's why I'm saying this carefully. See, spirituality will not give you your esteem. It is only your identity that can give you your esteem and your history. That's why a lot of people speak in tongues, they pray in the spirit, but they deep down, insecurity is there, low self-esteem is there, jealousy is there, imposter syndrome is there. Because that is not, it is your history and your heritage and your identity that can give you that. And until you find that, you will just, if you like, tell yourself that Abraham is your father, right? Something within you will disagree with it, right? To say, no, but you are not from Israel. You are from Nigeria. How? Right? Embrace it by faith. Your reality will still show it to you.
Yeah.
And that's why there was a reason in Matthew chapter 1, the entire lineage of Jesus was put out there. So you need to find your history, spice it up, and shoot a video based on it, so that your descendants can watch and say, this is who we are. This is inspiring. This is what we stand for. Once they own it, right, then it becomes impossible for anybody to talk them out of it, because they can see an ancestor that looks like them, that talks like them. They understood the year the man lived, right? And they're like, okay, we must be an improvement on this. That is what I think we all need to do. Africans must understand that God planted some Africans before they were born. And you may not agree with the way they worship God, but they had access to God, right, in their own way. And God was meeting with them in their own way. So if you have not become a Christian, you've not become a Muslim, you should be an improvement without discarding everything they also stood for, because there is superpower in what God has placed in them. The gifts and the calling of God is without repentance, right? That's what I will say. I don't know if they will allow me say anything, but I want to just appreciate Coach Ebon. Please, let me say this carefully. Let's not take for granted that she's always here to do this program. Sometimes give to her, send her gifts, appreciate her, send her encouragement, buy her recharge card, load her phone. She's done this for 5 years. She's not collected a dime for it. So let's not be a people who don't appreciate people, who don't celebrate people. Let's not become an ungrateful people who just show up and they say it's entire. We know they will call us somebody will know. 5 years is a lot in a life. So please, let's celebrate, let's appreciate her. And you will help the movement if you commit to say maybe every month you give 5,000 to whatever she's doing here, right? Like she rightly said, last year we went as far as Kogi State. We sent things to them. We're doing a whole lot. We're just here. People who don't make noise. We don't like to make noise on social media and say, this is what we are doing, live stream, all these things. A lot is going on. So you might want to commit this year and say, every month, I'll give you 10,000, right? If 10 of us give 10,000, that's 100,000 already. 20 of us, that's 100,000. That does a whole lot in pushing whatever she does here every day. Thank you very much, Coach Ebon. I want to personally appreciate you. Thank you for who you are and for what you do. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, PF. That was a beautiful one. Guys, when I saw the trend that PF started with in January, I just knew that we need to jump in and follow through. And so that was why I said he should come and lay the foundation and give us to hear, so that when I say go and watch this PF's video, people will rush to it. So I really, really appreciate you. Thank you for not holding back. Thank you for giving to us. And thank you, everyone, for always being here. Like I always say, there's no family meeting without you, So I appreciate it. We're going back to the roots, and that is what PF has talked about. Please don't let us be distracted. Our children are in our care to guide, to direct. When I speak with parents, the illustration I give to them is, look at if you have flower beds in your house, you don't just leave the flowers to grow anyhow. There's a season to trim, you shape it to what you want. And that is what parenting is. But you need to get yourself. If you don't get yourself, you wouldn't know what to give, because we can only give from our own overflow. And that is the basis of everything we have discussed here. Going back to our roots, going back into you, work on your family vision, because that is the only way that you can get a good direction. If you have a vision, you have a plan, and you have a direction to go. Thank you very much, PF. I really appreciate that. Thank you, admin. The admin has dropped the account details. I will appreciate it. It's for the work, really. It's for the work. It's for the work. We need a lot of people. We have different communities that we serve.
Oh, okay. I think her system is acting up. So let me just take it up from there. So there are quite a number of communities that are being served under the Family Center. And as such, we would appreciate support from everyone. As much as you can, it will be appreciated. Admin had dropped the link, or rather the account details in the group. And please, let's, do the needful so that the work can continue. I think Dr. Ebon is back.
I hope so. Am I really back?
Okay.
Sorry about that, the internet. Yeah, so I was saying that, the lady had a surgery last year. We tried to raise money. We couldn't really raise money. They had done like 20 million. We're not asking you to do 20 million, but what I was going to say was that I saw how 70-year-old mom taking care of her. The woman was looking very tired because they have to carry her, they have to do all this, they have to do all that. And I had to just call one person, hey, please, let's organize a massage for this woman. She needs to be strong to take care of this girl. These are the things we do behind the scene that we don't tell people, okay? Yeah. So please, the admin has dropped the
Okay. You're mute, Ebon, you're mute.
They have dropped the link to the class, the State of Parenting webinar that was held for the diaspora. And there is a Telegram link that was also dropped. If you want to hear PF talk to you every day, I think that's devotional drops every morning, or I think once a week or something. You want to also take that link. There's this other link that I want you to take advantage of, talking about goals, talking about setting your goals, your resolution, your family values, and all that. And that is the Goal Scoring Masterclass, the replay. So that was the first class PF had this year. the replay is also admin, can you please drop the Go Sorry Masterclass link? Yeah, the replay link is there. Please, I want you guys to avail yourself for it. The other link that I want us to avail ourselves with for this year is you can turn your lemons into lemonade. The counseling room for Family House. We now have a physical space that you can walk in and you have counselors attend to you. You can also get this online virtually, and trust me, good price. We know what counseling says outside now, so you want to take advantage of that. Thank you very much, everyone. And please, can you celebrate Ayo Lawrence? Thank you so much, Ayo Lawrence, for choosing to do this and to go on this journey with us at the family meeting. God bless you. I look forward to having everyone here. And please come with your friends in the month of February. February, we're going to be talking about love. It's a month of love. Valentine is coming. Who is my boyfriend? Yeah, if you want to be my Val, please slide into my DM. So thank you very much. Have a beautiful 2026. I'm sure we will come here at the end of 2026 to testify to beautiful things, to transformation, to growth, to achievement, to good parenting, happy family. If you follow through. I was telling somebody, please, there are some words that's specifically for you because you belong to a clique, because you belong to family meeting. Some instructions have been given. And that is why I insisted that PF had to be here today, because we operate under him as a family. The instructions have been given. Follow Uno Road. Don't follow social media aunties and uncles. They have things they are hiding. They have their pains. They are spilling. Serious spilling. That's what they are doing. Yeah? They are bleeding. Sorry, they are bleeding. And that's what's happening. So, you know, coming here today was really overwhelming, but I know that, yeah, we have learned something. And so with this, we come to the end of the family meeting for January edition. And I'm so glad it's been a successful one. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of the day.
God bless.
Bye.